I'm here today to talk to you about an exciting activity you can do from your home, in your garden, or even as part of your daily exercise. We are all interested in nature, and many of you may have been lucky enough to see interesting plants and animals in a nature reserve, or in a woodland, or a large green space. Have you ever wondered what wildlife lives just outside your window or front door? Have you ever taken the time to look? You might be surprised about what you can find. What we would like you to do is carry out a wildlife hunt from a location of your choosing, and then make your very own spotter guide that you can share with others so they can explore nature on their doorsteps too.
Simply look from your bedroom window throughout the day. Search in your garden, back or front. Scour the length of the street you walk down regularly. Hunt along a hedgerow or lane when on your daily exercise. Investigate a nearby grassy verge or explore your local play park.
So what might you need for this activity? Luckily, you don't need any specialist equipment. The most important things are some pencils, a notebook or some old paper so that you can record your findings. You could also have a little rummage and see if you can find any old plastic pots and old paintbrushes. You could use these to have a closer look at any of the small creatures that you find. You may also be lucky enough to have a magnifying glass. You could use this to have a closer look at your findings too. For your spotter guide, you might find the following things useful: some plain paper, some colouring pencils, and some ID books. Those of you that have a phone might want to take photos of those things that you find. And finally, choose a time of day that is dry and bright. Use your eyes and ears. What can you see? What can you hear? And then look everywhere.
Look up high, look down on the ground, look under pots and logs and stones. Look under fallen leaves and in dark corners. Look out on rooftops, around window frames, under windowsills, and even in the gaps between pavement stones.
To give you an idea of what to do for your spotter guide, I've made two examples, one for each of the nature hunts I've done.
The first is a spotter guide from a window. I spent about 20 minutes looking out of my upstairs window, just after breakfast, before lunch, and then late afternoon. I used coloured pencils for the drawings and pen for the title and labels. As you can see, you don't have to be able to identify everything. Birds flying, bird on rooftop are great non-specific labels to use. I was able to identify a nice fat pigeon, so I've included a drawing, which I copied from an ID book, thinking most people would be able to identify pigeons too. I also spotted various patches of green on walls, roofs and pavement, so simply added this colour as something to try and spot, rather than being too specific. Finally, I included something more challenging to find, a spider's egg sac. I did see some other things, birds sitting in a tree, moss on a roof, and I even heard birds calling, but I only chose to include my 6 favourite nature spots. The second is a spotter guide for the outside of a house and front garden. Yes, I know the title is a bit long, but this is my spotter guide, and my front garden is a tiny patch of green surrounded by brick paths and a few pots. So I decided to include all of that and around my front door and windows in my nature hunt. It's your spotter guide, so you decide the title. This one I did on the computer, and I had fun playing with the colour and font of the title, labels and tick boxes. I've included 8 of my favourite nature spots this time, and I have used photos from my phone as well as images I found online. I was amazed at what I found. What I thought was simply grass turned out to be far more interesting. A few daisy flowers were starting to show, and I was able to identify another plant as clover. When I found a centipede under one of my plant pots, I was thrilled, so I've made it my star find. I hope these have given you some ideas for your spotter guides and that you feel inspired to investigate nature on your doorstep too. Happy hunting!